Welcome! I've been making videos about astral projections, and this is another video that continues this theme. Today I will talk about dream signs. These were interesting situations that I had after doing a wake-induced lucid dream technique, but then ending up going into a blackout. That is, entering a regular sleep state with regular dreams. In this normal dreaming, through programming and constant previous suggestions that I made to myself, the subconscious signals signs and symbologies into my awareness to wake up and to become lucid. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read two accounts that are excerpts from my dream diary. So in this first report I describe a sophisticated device that I dreamt of, which at the time when I started my practice in astral projections, I did not know that it could be described as fractals, something very characteristic of psychedelic visuals. Between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. I felt the vibrations, heard the sound and felt the heart chakra active. I was lying on my left side, and because I was lying all crooked, I thought of getting myself prepared first. And for that, I would have to physically turn myself. So I thought about managing my physical body, to be able to move it, because my physical body was already paralyzed. The arm felt very heavy, but with enough effort, I took control of the body, but not enough to break the deep, relaxed state I was in. Just enough to roll to the right, so I'm facing up. This is my most comfortable position to get out of the body. Still, slightly feeling the vibrations and sound, I force myself to deepen this state by visualizing myself a foot in front of me. I start to feel myself wavering up and down. The vibrations became so intense that they discouraged me from continuing. Annoyed, I make a mental effort to focus on the forehead chakra. Rolling my eyes up, I observe the dark background of the closed eyes and notice some images. They are hypnagogic in nature, but instead they become increasingly coherent and permanent. From now on, I think that simultaneously with the attempt to project, I begin to dream a dream that little by little has dominated my intention, covering my lucidity with a veil. Slowly I entered a blackout. I was losing lucidity. I had a dream where I was in the city, first inside a house with offices and then out on the street where it was raining. In a subsequent episode of the dream, I dreamed of a sophisticated device whose software could cause astral projection. It was a rectangular panel that you had to look at carefully, and what I saw was an image that was like a tracery of phosphorescent electric wires, like neons of various colors that crisscrossed each other and that were like snakes running through an endless labyrinth. The more I watched, the more I felt myself being pulled somewhere. The next thing I knew, I was in bed again, but this time facing myself. I was my double facing me. But I'm not sure in which body I was. I was parallel to the body that was in front of me. It was a real mirror. I just don't know which body I was in, whether in the astral body or in the physical body, because I didn't notice any reference like the bed or the ceiling. The next story is about a crazy dream. I didn't get to become lucid, but the characters I dreamt about tried to give me clues to become lucid. The clues did not interrupt the events, on the contrary, they were part of the story. They were even the guiding thread of the story. In the middle of the night, trying to get out of my body was a fruitless attempt because I ended up falling asleep. But I had a long dream. I dreamt that I was with a girl on a date and we were having coffee at the coffee shop. The esplanade of the bar extended further than it actually does in reality. There were tables all the way to the other end of the square, close to the mermaid's garden. In the dream, I thought to myself that this was very strange, having tables up here. So the girl told me that none of this is real, and I agreed, saying, I know. I noticed immediately, in that moment, that a man was observing me. I think he was a waiter. In hindsight, reflecting on this night and the attempt to project, I think now that he was there present as an entity that didn't want me to have an astral projection. As soon as I became lucid, as soon as I got the perception that being there with the girl in that large esplanade was just a dream, I came back to myself within the physical body that was paralyzed. With the astral body loose and feeling it as an internal movement in a cocoon, feeling the vibrations and hearing a loud tinnitus in my ears, I was lying on the right side and I felt my astral body trapped inside the physical body. With a lot of effort, I managed to sit with the astral body on the bed. But soon I went into blackout. I lost my lucidity and went back to the dream. In the second part of the dream, I remembered that I was still in the mermaid's garden and the girl on the date told me about the book that would give me the answer I was supposedly looking for. She gave me the book that had the title How to Astral Project. Immediately I felt observed by an entity. And there he was, the guy from the bar looking at me again. Then another scenario appeared in the dream, which was a cave inside a dungeon, and I was there accompanied with an old witch. I still had the book, How to Astral Project, and the witch was, in the end, a teacher who was teaching me a lesson by enumerating some pages of the book for me to read. I tried to see the content of the pages in the book right away, but she was advancing very fast, and so I had to write the numbers on the paper sheet to read the pages later. After she stopped counting the pages, she left and I was left alone with the book in the dark cave. I was reading the pages where I noticed that I wrote down the numbers she said on each page corresponding to each number. It took me a long time to look for the pages to read, and so I read the book from the beginning instead. I remember some pages with images of Greek stoneworks, some statues and 2 altars. On another page, I read the retold story of me and the girl from the coffee shop. The book also contained magical rituals and tricks I learned to escape the challenges that would follow. After all, my mission there in the dungeon was to rescue the girl I dated, who was in another cave in those dungeons. After leaving the room I was in, I went to a room where there was a monster that ate dogs, and there was a maiden too. She was not the girl I had a date with, but this maiden also wanted me to save her, but instead I left just in time, yelping like a dog. I think I was a dog in that part of the dungeon. I passed several different rooms, several different caves, being different things, when I finally came to a wooden slated door. Between the slates I could see the girl who was with someone else, presumably the kidnapper. Sneaky, she steals his keys and threw them near the door, but they stay inside the room. In the dream, I remembered that I saw a magical formula in the book to open doors, so I went back to the room where I left the book, and when I came back on my way to saving the girl, I had a strong urge to piss. I went to a corner of the dungeon and peed there, relieved. At that moment, I realized my paralyzed physical body, with my astral body loose and still feeling it vacillate and feeling the vibrations, and something hot in the lower abdomen, but running down from the waist to my tailbone. Startled, I woke up, still completely altered and disoriented. I was pissing myself in the bed. Damn, I pissed myself. And I didn't get to save the girl. Well, I won't say at what age I had this dream, but I can say it was quite recently. Well, who said that spirituality can't be funny, right? So, in this video, I wanted to show you examples of dreams that had signs and symbologies that could potentially help me become lucid. When practicing wake-induced lucid dream techniques, the mechanism of this phenomenon and these elements that appear within the dreams to potentially help us become lucid, in my opinion, may be due to subconscious programming, due to the constant previous suggestions of the wake-induced lucid dream techniques that increases the instinctive urge to project to the astral plane. Thus, during common dreams, triggered when a blackout does occur after performing a technique, the programmed subconscious reflects its will in characters, situations, and other elements. On the other hand, when mnemonic-induced lucid dream techniques are practiced during the daily waking life, the elements that make us lucid are of a different nature, as they have to do with the elements of reality that we have worked on the most. That is, elements that were associated with the reality checking practice. That might be a situation such as watching the hour on your cell phone or touching and picking a door knob to open the door. So, I hope you enjoyed this video and all in all found it informative and funny. Consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss anything. Also, if you liked this video, please hit the like button for me. Be well.